Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dice Legacy, this strange dice rolling meets RTS run like game by Destiny Bit, coming out September 9th. If you like this video, please give us a subscribe and let us know what you think about the game in the comments. And yeah, I'm just going to get into it here because it's going to be a little bit of explanation here. I'm going to show you some of the starting menus. Some of it's not going to make sense until I actually show you how the game plays, but we'll go through it a little bit here. So this is just different types of scenarios. You can see what you have at the bottom. We're just going to start with you start with the stranded scenario, and you unlock all of the other scenarios by completing one game of the stranded basic scenario, and that's what we're gonna do. But we've got some things like it's always winter. The others have a gigantic city, which we'll talk about later who the others are. Some things about the council, ice and fire, all sorts of different scenarios that kind of just make the game a little bit more difficult. The Stranded is the most straightforward mode, and like I said, is the one you unlock. Then we have rulers that we get to choose, and the Stranded King is the one that the game starts with, so you'll start this one if you pick up the game. Once you complete the game, you unlock these other ones, and there's still two I have not unlocked. So. And these just provide different bonuses based on the way you play. But the Stranded one is the most straightforward. I will point out that this combination to activate, where it says Into the Blizzard, what this means is this is a special bonus that this ruler gets. If I roll those particular dice, I will get... treats all frozen dice in pool. Frozen dice lose 3 durability. So if it's winter and they're frozen, I'll unfreeze all the dice, but I will lose 3 durability on each one, which probably doesn't mean anything to you right now, but will soon enough. And yeah, so you'll be able to choose these and kind of change your experience a little bit. But we're just gonna leave it here with the normal guy. And we get to see what our starting dice are here. I think we can replace them, but we can replace them only with ascended die, which I only have one of right now. But you get these when you complete a game, and they're just like higher end dice that you can start the game with to kind of give you a leg up. All right, so then we have the difficulty option. I'm going to recommend you choose the pacifist option for the first time you play and play through the entire game one run that way, just to kind of get an idea of how the game plays and all the systems, and also turn on the tutorial. So you get, a little bit of a guidance to start yourself out. I think even on the standard difficulty, it's a little bit too difficult right out of the gate. So, like I said, I would start with pacifist, but there are a whole bunch of difficulty options, and the game's really geared toward making the game as difficult for yourself as possible. And there are a lot of options to do that. So, I'm going to start with standard. I don't need a tutorial because I know, at least at the beginning, what I'm doing, and we'll get into it. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of explanation early on here, but this is a game that if it gets your hooks in you, you're going to be playing it for a long time. That's kind of what ended up happening with me. I ended up playing for, the first night I got it a lot longer than I thought I was going to. So this is the realm that you're in. It's a lot like a Halo ring. It just kind of loops around here. And it looks like right now we can only get to here, but I think on the pacifist mode you can kind of go forward to the entire map and see what's up ahead. But right now we got some fog of war. So kind of like a traditional real-time strategy game, you're building out a village, and time is slowly ticking away down. You can see in the bottom corner my king's face there, and the bar of the curved bar above him is the season. So right now we're in spring, and we're going to try to get as much done in spring and summer as we can before winter comes. So what we're going to do is use our dice, which are along the bottom there, and start applying them to some of the things we have going here. We already have the basis for a house, and we've got some workers, some gatherers we can use here to gather some stuff, some resources. And we don't really have anything we can do with that explorer dice right now. And as they get done, you can see there's little timers on them. That's how long it's going to take. They get put back into your hold down there, and they are then ready to be rolled once you're ready to do that. In the meantime, you can see that I can lock a dice. So I just locked that explorer dice, and that means it will not be rolled when I roll the other dice. That's good if you want to hold on to a dice for another round and maybe use it at a later date, or you don't want to roll it because it's close to death, because each time you roll the dice or use the dice on the play field, you'll lose a durability number. That's what the number is, the 16s underneath all these dice right now. So I just rolled them. Now they're all down to 15, and I've got different, same 5 dice, sorry, but now they have different skills that are on them. So now I can use this dice to collect some of these resources. These resources run out pretty quickly. We can do this. We also have a soldier dice, which I don't really need right now. And we've got a builder dice, which I'm going to see about building something maybe in this menu, but I don't think I can build a wheat farm. That'll be good. That's a good thing to start with. So build that there, and then we need I guess I don't need a builder dice for a wheat farm. I just need some worker dice, which are what these gears are. So just wait for the gatherer up there to finish. You can speed up time. So I'm playing on the Switch. I recommend if you have a PC, it's probably the better place to play with mouse and keyboard. The Switch controls are okay, but they are not. I mean, once you get used to them, they're okay, but they are not the most intuitive way to play this game, as you probably would expect. But yeah, you can speed up the game with the D-pad. Pressing up on the D-pad speeds it up. You can see the speed up in the top left. And I mostly play on 2 times speed because the single speed is a little bit slow. I only turn it down when there's like some serious stuff going on. All right, so we're pretty much done here. I think I'm gonna lock this soldier dice. That way I always have a soldier. There's a reason for that, as we'll get to coming up, presumably. So we'll keep at it. Early on, it's pretty slow start, but we do get to a point. Okay, so now we can build a house. This is where you start to get the ability to make more dice. So we'll do that, and we need 2 builders to build that house. And yeah, like I said early on, you're just kind of plucking away at it. Your resources are all across the top there. You've got food, wood, stone, gold, iron, wheat, ale, and herbs. And then that last one over there is knowledge, which you use to conduct research, which we'll get into in a little while. Yeah, so once we have a house, we can start to reproduce. And we'll do that by putting 2 dice in the house and making a baby die. I mean, a baby dice. And we just kind of chill out and wait. We can speed it up even more if we want to. Probably a good idea. And now we've got another dice here. So let's actually make another one. Let's roll these and start gathering. We definitely need wood. Wood is a constant resource you need. You need it to generate heaters, power heaters in the winter, as well as just build pretty much anything. Stone is pretty important. Gold, not so much. Gold is mostly used for trading, and you don't really have to engage with that at all. Iron is used for building and also making military structures. Wheat you use to make ale and food. Ale is used as a trading good, and also to unfreeze frozen dice in the winter. And herbs are used for food and healing and some other things too. And of course, knowledge is used for tech upgrades. So we just got a new peasant dice, a gatherer. So we'll use that and we'll roll. All right, we can finally finish the rest of this field. We've got another gatherer, so we'll throw them. Let's get some more food. So each one of these, if you get a little thing, a little pop-up that says what you get from it. Everything has that house. This is your town hall. It doesn't really do anything except if it's destroyed by the enemy, is when you lose the game. Otherwise, it just kind of sits there and does nothing. I think I'm gonna unlock this soldier dice because I'm not really in trouble right now. So let me see. I don't have enough for district hall. So district hall will let me expand my territory. You can see these wood poles here. This is how far my territory is right now, and the district hall will allow me to go beyond that. So at this point, you can take a look and see some of my dice. They are, like, this is a 6. If this gets down to 0, the dice will break and it'll die. The die will die. And you can recover some of the durability. Oops. Okay, so I should build a steam generator soon, because winter is coming. Well, yeah, so you can place damaged or weakened die in the cookhouse and then feed the die, and it will gain some of its durability back. That's something you have to all right, see. So the controls, like I said, sometimes I do accidentally hit the roll when I'm trying to do something else. Even though I've played this for quite a while, it still gets me every once in a while, and It's not great because every time you roll a die, its durability goes down. So accidentally rolling doesn't just mean, oops, I maybe lost some important dice. It means your durability of one of your dice just went down. So it's kind of a big deal when you accidentally roll. So we try to avoid that as much as possible, but the controls are what they are on the Switch. And the graphics are what they are on the Switch. It's not exactly like the best looking version, and at least it runs well in docked mode, in handheld mode, but it does not run particularly great in docked mode. It runs definitely at a lower frame rate, which is kind of a bummer. But having something like this on Switch is kind of interesting. Not something you'd expect to see. So, oh man, I need 5 iron for a steam generator. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that in time. But we'll see. Oh yeah, okay, we got another gatherer. And yeah, so early on you're just kind of plucking away and trying to gather as much as you can for the first winter. The first winter, they don't do you too dirty with the first winter, but you do want to be prepared as much as you can. You want to have as much food as you can, and you want to have as much wood as you can, because wood you need to burn in your steam generator in order to keep people from freezing. That's all some stuff we'll see when we're getting there. See, like, this is a bad roll. Like, I don't need... Oops. All right. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So winter is here, and every time the season changes from either summer to winter or winter to summer, the council meets and you get to choose a perk here. So you see we got fur coats. Dice are immune to freeze while in peasant districts, which we'll get to districts in a minute. Expert workers increases the resource gathering rate of all locations inside peasant districts. A peasant die generates from the house starts with full durability. I'm going to go with this. See, this has a little star on it. That means it's a rare perk, but I don't really need it right now because I don't have any districts. And the same thing with this. I don't have districts right now. So I'm going to use this because I'm going to be creating more dice as time goes on here early on. So I'm going to choose that. And then winter will come. And I was just going to say that this is a bad roll because I've got 4 builders and I don't really have the resources to build a whole lot right now. So it's kind of it's kind of useless. A lot of these I could build a district hall. I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I could actually. That could be useful, but I'm not going to right now. I'm going to save my resources for something a little bit more important, like the steam generator that I can now afford. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to try to get it as covering as much as I can here. Let's go here. Well, I don't need to worry about the field, so I'm gonna go here actually, and we'll use some of these dice. We'll use these 2 not old decrepit dice. So what will happen here is if I start to put if I start to send gatherers out into these zones that are cold, then they have the chance to freeze. And if they freeze, they're kind of locked into their current state until I either unfreeze them, which I can do that by feeding them ale at a tavern, or summer comes and they naturally thaw. See, like all these explorer dice, I don't have any use for them at all, so they're pretty useless to me, which is kind of a bummer. But that's what this game is. Sometimes you just get bad rolls. That's the nature of a game with dice, right? So I'm gonna keep trying to heal these up. Winter's a good time to kind of focus on that because you can't send your dice too far away from your steam generator. And you also want to keep gathering wood because the wood, the steam generator requires 3 wood for every like I think you get 3 minutes of heat per 3 wood. So we'll roll here and we'll just keep gathering wood. And yeah, once summer comes back around, you gotta stay on these steam generators, because if you don't, they will run out and you'll start to get frozen dice. Luckily, you can stack up wood, so I can put, I can load this up with wood. And I'll get 5 minutes here that I don't have to worry about it, which is pretty cool. But you have to have the wood, I'm gonna send this guy out to here, see if I can make him freeze, just so I can show you that mechanic. And while we're at it, let's make some more dice. I usually only have 1 house. You can make as many as you want and keep making dice, but there's no real point because you can only have 12 at a time. So, there's no reason to make more buildings than you need because, resources, they aren't unlimited. So we got another die. We'll keep going out here to try to get this. I think this is also out of the zone of warmth. The steam generator thing kind of reminded me a little bit of Frostpunk. Gives you like a radius of heat for your peasants so they don't freeze to death. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, so this guy froze, cannot be rolled or employed, so he's locked there until I unfreeze him. And like I said, I'd have to build a tavern, which is not really an option right now because I don't even have ale to supply it with. Or I just wait until summer and he'll unthaw automatically, which is probably what we'll end up doing. But that means I'm down a dice. That can be a serious issue, especially early on. If you're not familiar with the game, especially, you can get stuck with a whole bunch of frozen dice. And, it's a chance that they're going to get frozen. It's not a guarantee. So you could take that risk in order to get some extra resource that you need or something like that. As you'll see here, as we move into spring and then summer, the snow starts to melt, and we we start a new year. Got a lot of gatherers. Holy crap. We got more gatherers on that roll than we have spots to gather from. But that's good. That's a good way to kick off the summer. Oh, he froze and it's so close to it's so close to summer. Look at if it had just been like 2 seconds later. So we survived our first winter. And now those dice are unfrozen. And we get to choose new perks. So mandatory cutting at the start of every season, obtain 2 wood. Salting doubles the food production in all buildings inside peasant districts. Solstice celebration, immediately obtain 2 peasant dice. Oh, that sounds really good. I'm gonna do that right now. That's a really good beginning perk. Now I'm full. Now I've got all my dice filled up. Now there is a way that you can get more dice, but it's a little risky and you have to be very much on your game. And if things work out right, I'll show that in a minute here. Okay, so if you notice that I just rolled this this ruler's perk, which didn't really do anything for me because it only helps me in the winter if I have frozen dice. But I did roll it, which means I rolled the exact combination of dice that activate that perk. And once you have like your whole your whole roster here of dice, it does happen pretty frequently. It seems like it maybe wouldn't happen too frequently, but it does. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make a district hall. I'm gonna put it like probably here's the best spot. And well, I can't quite do this yet. I need another builder, which of course I didn't get. It's the roll of the dice, right, man? That's how it goes. Sometimes it can be frustrating, for sure, when you just need one dice of a particular type and you roll and you just can't get it. Builders are actually the ones that come up frequently because you're not building all the time, so you get builder dice when you don't really need it, but you tend to get them when you least need them. Like when you'll get like 5 builder dice in a single roll, and you're like, well, I don't get anything to build. But that's part of the game. All right, so I just made this into a, I guess it's not a district hall yet. I need to put this into gold, and this will turn it into a peasant district because that's the class that I have that I put into this this dice, this district hall. You do get, the bad guys are showing up. You do get other classes of dice, which we'll be figuring out soon. I gotta get some soldier dice. So this is how the enemies come. They just kind of come down from the top of the map and attack either whatever's closest to them, or they'll come straight. They'll try to come straight down to your town hall, and it's pretty The threat ends up being pretty constant, and it can be kind of annoying. What you really need to do is unlock this tower ability, this tower building, as soon as possible to stop that from happening. Once you put that up, it kind of kills them before they can get too far. But we don't have that right now. What I need to do next is build a school, which is right here. And what do I need for that? I need 4 stone, which I don't even have any stone, right? Any stone to gather. So here comes another dude. And like I need stone, so I need to build another district hall in order to expand my reach. So I'm gonna do that. Even if this isn't exactly when I wanted to build it or where I wanted to build it, but I kind of got to get moving here. So I need stone. Stone's very important to build structures. I'm gonna put him down. I've got 2 of these guys, which is good. I'm gonna lock this soldier down. I'm gonna heal this guy up. Sometimes the pop-up just get in front of your dice, and it's frustrating when you're trying to pick a dice and the pop-up's there, but you can't turn it off, so it's not too bad. So that. Shadowy figure. Some pale, slender figures appear from the mist. They move quickly through the shadows and are approaching your supplies. We must stop them from stealing our resources. Oh no. Okay, so that peasant got wounded in that fight, and if he gets wounded again, he's going to die. And you can see the dice is kind of cracked up. That shows you that he's wounded. I can build an apothecary that will allow me to heal the dice, but we're not quite there yet. See, now I got 2 wounded dice, which isn't good. Alright, good. We got 2 stone mines with that structure, which is good. Definitely need food. Oh, we got a lot of gatherers on that one, which is exactly what we needed. So then, yeah, so I built this district hall, and it gave me a much larger view of what's coming up. And also has given me a better view of enemies that are approaching, so I can stop them sooner. And yeah, this is how it goes. This is, what is this? This is an encampment, so I can send an explorer here to kind of explore and find out who these people are, if they're good people or if they're bad people. And we've got some noxious smell coming at us, so we've got to stop that. We encountered a small encampment. The population seems peaceful and lost in an adoration of some kind deity. Unfortunately, our explorer was caught while trying to sneak into their camp. The explorer managed to escape, but regained their trust will take time. Alright, so they're peaceful, but they're not happy that we tried to sneak into their encampment. We'll see what how that pans out. You do need special dice to interact with certain groups of people. I don't quite know yet what we'll need to interact with them. Usually it's like a merchant in order to do trading, or it's winter again. Greenhouses, wheat farms inside peasant districts work also in winter. That's a pretty good one. Expert workers increase the resource gathered rate in all locations. Oh no, that's what I'm gonna do. Mandatory cutting. Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna choose. So that means anything inside a peasant district will be will gather faster. I got a lot of wounded dice. So I gotta build. I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm going to build a school. Build the school about right here. Seems good. And the school will allow me to convert peasant dice into citizen dice, which is the next class we'll be doing. I think I'm gonna. Do I have 2 gold? Yes, I do. I think I'm gonna turn this into another peasant district, because there's a lot of resources to gather here. And that bonus I just unlocked will be very useful. Let me see. Herbalist hut is to gather herbs. And then the apothecary is to actually use the herbs. So I'm gonna build an herbalist hut wherever there's some forests. Let's do it right here. That'll get a nice bonus from the relation to the peasant district hall. And I think we're gonna have to roll. I don't have enough builders. Got a ton of gatherers, which is nice. To take advantage of that, that's for sure. I'm gonna lock this dice, this soldier dice. So I just made my first citizen dice there, and you can see to the right where it says citizen. When I highlight this particular dice, it'll show you that this dice can turn into a worker, a builder, or a book. I don't know what you want to call it, a teacher, a learner, or student, or something like that. and that's every time that it rolls. So there's 2 chances that it could be worker, 2 chances that it could be a builder, 2 chances that it could be a worker, learner, or whatever. And each class of dice has different options for what it could be. So if we go up to the peasant dice, you see that it can be a worker twice, 2 times it can be a gatherer, a builder, a soldier, or an explorer. And as we get more classes of dice, there are merchants, there are soldier, actual soldier dice types class, and monk class. Each one has different options for what it could be. The citizen dice is the only type of dice that can have that learner attribute. The merchant dice are the only ones that can have trading attributes. The soldier dice are the only ones, there's like a torch symbol that represents that they can manage a catapult. They're the only ones that have that opportunity. And the monks, they're the only ones that have the opportunity to it's like a prayer symbol. They're the only ones that have that, and that allows them to communicate with certain types of camps, and heal dice and stuff like that. There's a few things that the monk class can do. But this citizen dice with this book symbol, it's very important because it's the only dice that can generate technology points. So what I need to do now is I need to build a workshop, and when you load citizen dice with this book into that workshop, they will slowly generate technology points that you can use to build technology, which you can see the tech tree here. And a lot of it's pretty basic stuff, like the first tier, you get more wood when you when a gatherer gathers wood, get more food when it gathers that, we get more stone or iron when you're gathering that, stuff like that. Same thing with this. It's like just slow upgrades to like the wheat, the mill, getting more ale, things like that, herbs. Civic is where we start to get a little bit more complicated. Things start to, we 15% less wood. Wait a minute, increase the time before. Fire destroys a building. So that'll happen when these enemies attack you. If they get to a building, they'll light it on fire. So that'll help you with that. Manipulation is where you start to be able to level up your dice. So each dice face, which when I say that, I mean the face of the dice, which is like when it's a gatherer dice, when it's a builder dice, the upward facing attribute that the dice has on that roll has a level. And the more you use that dice to perform that task, the faster it'll level up. But you can also use this enhancement chamber later on in order to just put resources into it and a dice, and you'll level it up automatically, which is very useful, especially for soldier dice, because you don't really need too many of them. So you want the 1 or 2 soldier dice you have to be really powerful, so they can take care of anything you need them to. Then there's military. This is that tower that I was talking about that's very useful for protecting your base. That's something you want to go for. There's just, there's a lot of stuff here. Market's important for trade. There's a religion that unlocks your monks, etc., etc. It's a lot. There's a lot here. This is a pretty complicated game. It all does come together and make sense. There's a couple of drawbacks that I don't know. I don't know the longevity of it is probably my biggest concern. Like, how many times can you play through these scenarios? And like, there seems to pretty much be a critical path that you can take, and I don't know how much your strategies will be tested, other than maybe some of those scenarios that I talked about before we started the game, because those may throw some wrenches into some of your strategies. But with a standard game, if you can get through winter without locking up too many dice, if you can figure out how to defend your base, it's really just a matter of collecting enough resources and progressing down the map to get to the end, which the goal is to get to the end of that ring that you saw. That's where the enemy is. These enemies that are coming at you are called the others. And once you get to the end there, you destroy their village and you win. And then you start a new game. That's also when you get an ascended dice that you can take into another game, which is probably going to be like the ticket to, making the harder scenarios a little bit easier, taking in already leveled up dice and stuff like that. I can't really say how big of an impact that's going to be, but that's probably my biggest concern about the game, is the longevity of it. It's very complicated on the surface, and once you figure it all out, it makes a whole lot of sense. And then it's just kind of doing that over and over again and making sure you don't, you keep healing up your dice, so you don't lose a whole bunch of them. And you just keep going. And yeah, that's probably my biggest concern, and I can't really speak to that yet because I haven't played the game enough to know whether or not that's going to be an issue. It's just something that is already scratching my brain. Is this going to be just the same repetition over and over? And that's kind of the problem with any strategy game, right? Eventually you figure it out, and you just keep doing that over and over again, and it's whether or not the repetition is fun. And that could be where this game lands. It could be the fact that, yes, this repetition is fun, and they keep throwing different scenarios at you, and it's fun. But I can't really speak to that yet. Strategy games take a very long time to get to that point because of just the nature of them. And I haven't had enough time to play the game to say whether or not that's where this one lands or not. So we'll see. I mean, if what you're seeing here is interesting to you, just know that the only thing that you really haven't seen a whole lot of is the defensive structures that you can build. Like, you can build a catapult that you can then use to destroy enemy buildings really quickly. You can build encampments near, like I could build an encampment near this encampment and start to send like soldiers at it to raid them. But ultimately the only thing you get out of that is just more resources, which feed into the main progression of the game. The class system was the last thing that I kind of figured out, and once I figured that out, everything just kind of fell into place. Like, okay, so I need 2 dice of this class. I should have 4 dice of this class. I should have 3 dice of this class, because that's, you just got to come up with the best, class makeup, what you need the most of at any given time. And hopefully, you don't end up with a lack of what you need at any given time because you have too many citizen dice, and citizen dice don't have, citizen dice can't be soldiers. So if you need soldiers and you have a whole bunch of citizen dice, you're kind of screwed. So that's kind of like where the challenge comes in, and it's really once you figure out how the game is played, it's really just kind of your fault if you don't end up in a better situation. Yeah, I guess that's probably my wrap up of this. I could keep playing this for the whole game and show you the whole thing, but it really isn't going to, radically change the game. There isn't something you haven't seen that's gonna really blow you away, in my opinion, one way or the other. So yeah, now that we've kind of seen that, let's go back to the main menu and go through the scenarios here. So you can have multiple games going, which is nice. So you can kind of mess around and be like, oh man, this was way too hard. I need to start a new game, but maybe I'll come back to it later. So now that we've kind of explored some of this, we can say like the great winter always is happening. So you have the chance that any of your dice are going to freeze. You have to keep up your supply of wood so you can power those steam generators. And yeah, it's just, it's a more difficult and restrictive period of the game. The Metropolis is the others, which we didn't really see their base, but it's, it's a few buildings and they have a harbor as well. Once you destroy the harbor, you've defeated them and that's the end. They're more powerful in this scenario. And there's also less resources on the map, presumably because they've exploited it. Red tape, there is less opportunities for the council to meet and you to choose those perks. And building production is slower. So it's going to be a longer, slower game. Ice and fire. So kind of like the opposite of winter, during the summer, buildings can catch on fire. And there's other, different scenarios there as well, different modifiers. Six faces, the council has decided to take matters into their own hands. The dice limit is, so this is, you only get 6 dice. Yeah, so that's gonna be a challenge as well. And then your characters here, you can see down there different starting dice. So the red dice are merchant dice. And there's a little bit of a starting technology. Merchants can trade resources for gold. That kind of gives you a boost there. And then she's a religious fanatic. So all her bonuses are based around religion. And then he's kind of like a corrupted king. And corrupted dice are kind of useless. They don't cause that you can't use them at all to do anything. They're just kind of pointless dice that you roll, and their corruption can spread. So if you have a few corrupted dice in your roll, there's a possibility that more dice could get corrupted as time goes on. So you can see how all of these things can just add on to the difficulty. Very few of them make the game more easier. And then of course you have your difficulty options that just create like this hardest one. In-game pause is disabled. You can't pause the game. You can change the speed, but you can't completely pause it. And yeah, so it's just all designed to make the game more difficult. And I don't, like I was saying before, I don't know if that's going to make the game more interesting. Because, like I said, it's still just the same basic build your roster of dice and see how far you can get. And there's obviously the random element there where you could keep rolling dice and get bad rolls. So yeah, it's really, mileage may vary on that front, on how long or how long this game can stay interesting. And I'm still gonna keep playing this because I think it's really cool. It's an incredible like twist on the RTS genre. Like I've never seen a game take the RTS formula in this particular type of direction, in any new direction, in a long time. So to me, it's exciting, and I love RTS games. So this is like super exciting to see, new ground being tread in this space. And I think overall, like the gameplay, it controls okay on a controller, and like the look of it and the way it all looks and feels is really spot on. It's a really, really great put together package. I never ran into any bugs in my time playing it. So ultimately, if you like RTS games and what you see here intrigues you, I say give it a shot. It's coming out on PC and Switch on September 9th. I think it's $20. So it's definitely worth diving in and taking a peek at. And yeah, if it does get you, if it does hook you, you're gonna be hooked for a little while. You're gonna just keep doing one more roll, right? So if you like the video, please give me a subscribe. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments. I'm interested to see what people take away from it, if they like it, if things they don't like about it, because it's a strange one. It has a lot of interesting things going on. So yeah, leave me a comment, subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more, and we will see you next time.